got
James
it.
Baldwin
You
once
got
wrote,
it, Nan.
I got it. I'm getting yours on
"For
there.
while the tale of how we suffer
See, don't hold, you give me mine,
and
because I
how we
can
are
send
delighted
yours to mine.
and how we make triumph
My,
is never new.
my 4Gs ain't strong as
It
yours.
always
Your
must be
battery?
heard.
No.
I hope my battery.
No, no, your battery good.
For while the tale of how we suffer and how we are delighted and how we may triumph is never new, it
But
always
you can
must be
send
heard.
it.
Right, we can send to each other.
Today, as so many generations have before, we gather
Right there,
our
but we
national
are there,
moment
huh?
We there. Who you talking?
tell
I'm there. I
an
don't know
essential
about you.
part of
I'm
the
there.
American story.
We aren't there, but we are
I'm
there.
there.
One that has at times
They
been
don't want
overlooked.
us to be there, but we there.
Uh-huh.
We come
Imagine
not just for today, but for all
most
time.
of America is there too.
I'll tell you what, when
But
I
this is
do
a-
get a
President
chance to
Bush,
go, I know I'm going to be like I was already
President
there.
Clinton,
Grain going to be all over my
Vice
face.
President Dr. Biden, Chief Justice Roberts, Secretary Scorton, Reverend Butts,
Get Mrs. Clinton and Mrs.
Distinguished
Clinton
guests.
in the back of that.
Yeah.
Him. They
Thank
got arm to arm there.
thank you for your leadership in making sure this tale is told.
Miss Clinton and Miss and
We're
Miss
here in part
Obama.
because of you and
They're
because
short in a
of
minute.
all those Americans. The Civil War vets,
No,
the
you
civil
say
rights
pop.
foot soldiers, the champions of this effort on Capitol Hill, who for more than a century kept the dream of this museum alive.
Got it recorded.
It includes our leaders from Congress, Paul Ryan, Nancy Pelosi. It includes one of my heroes, John Lewis, who, as he has so often, took the torch from those who came before him and brought us past the finish line. It includes the philanthropists and benefactors and advisory members who have so generously given not only their money but their time. It includes the Americans who offered up all the family keepsakes tucked away in Grandma's attic. And of course, it includes a man without whose vision and passion and persistence we would not be here today, Mr. Lonnie Bunch.
See, Mrs.
What we can
and
see
Mr.
of this
Obama.
building,
Yeah,
the towering glass,
they're sitting right
the
together.
artistry, the metalwork,
On there together.
is surely a sight to behold. But beyond the majesty of the building, what makes this occasion so special is the larger story it contains. Below us, this building reaches down 70 feet. Its roots spreading far wider and deeper than any tree on this mall. And on its lowest level, after you walk past remnants of a slave ship, after you reflect on the immortal declaration that all men are created equal, you can see a block of stone. On top of this stone sits a historical marker, weathered by the ages. And that marker reads, General Andrew Jackson and Henry Clay spoke from this slave block during the year 1830.
Oh my God.
1830.
I want you to think about this.
Yeah.
Consider what this artifact tells us
Years ago.
about history, about how it's told, and about what can be cast aside. On a stone where day after day, for years, men and women were torn from their spouse or their child, shackled and bound and bought and sold and bid like cattle, on a stone worn down by the tragedy of over 1,000 bare feet. For a long time, the only thing we considered important, the singular thing we once chose to commemorate as history with a plaque, were the unmemorable speeches of two powerful men. And that block, I think, explains why this museum is so necessary. Because that same object, reframed, put in context, tells us so much more.
So
As
9 o'clock
Americans,
in the
we
morning.
rightfully passed on the tales of the giants who built this country, who led armies into battle, who waged seminal debates in the halls of Congress and the corridors of power. But too often we ignored
Now listen to
Or
what
forgot.
he's saying now.
He gonna bring it right on up to where we at now.
stories of
Yes,
millions
he is.
That's where he
upon
coming
millions of
from.
others
1800.
who built this nation just as surely, whose humble eloquence, whose calloused hands, whose steady drive helped to create cities, erect industries, build the arsenals of democracy. And so this National Museum helps to tell a richer and fuller story of who we are. It helps us better understand the lives, yes, of the president, but also the slave, the industrialist, but also the porter, the keeper of the status quo, but also the activist seeking to overthrow that status quo.
They couldn't get a better guy to explain
The
it than
teacher.
him.
That's what I said.
Yeah, he gonna make it so simple.
That he is the actors
Alongside.
of
Yeah.
the status
statesman.
quo.
And by knowing this other story, we better understand ourselves and each other. It binds us together. It reaffirms that all of us are American. That African American history is not
You off, Lord.
somehow separate
Oh, she's
from our
swollen.
larger
Oh, real
American
bad.
story. It's not the underside
You gotta get them
of the
filled
American
with.
story.
You swollen.
It is central to the American
Yeah,
story.
but you,
You gotta do something about
That
it.
our glory derives not just
No,
from our
They're
most
there.
obvious triumphs,
do it.
but how we
Real
wrested
bad.
triumph from tragedy. And how we've been able to remake ourselves again and again and again in accordance with our highest ideals. I too am American. The great historian John Hope Franklin, who helped
Who said he had not?
to get this
That you want.
museum started,
Can you record
Okay.
on
yeah,
that?
once said,
go ahead. You, what you
good
want me
history
to
is a good foundation
What you want
for
me
a
to
better
get?
present
Now you
and
got to
future.
the head. We should get the head. You got to rest the head.
He understood the best history doesn't
You want
just sit
something out the room?
behind a glass
You want
case.
your pad,
Yeah, like the book and
That's
pen.
what I said for.
book and pen.
It helps us
She gonna do some writing.
to understand
Oh, okay. That's why I was
what's
saying I'll go
outside
get it for you.
the case. The best history helps us recognize the mistakes that we've made and the dark corners of the human spirit that we need to guard against. And yes, a clear-eyed view of history can make us uncomfortable.